Hello, welcome to another episode of Umineko. I believe this is episode 29. Sleep well, Llama. Thank you for dropping by, and I hope you have a good night. I almost forgot to actually start the stream, or to, kick off the opening and everything just now, to switch over to, my face, which isn't really my face, because I was vibing to the song a little too hard. But, I did it. Go me. I hope you're all doing good. And that it's not too warm where you are, because there's heat waves all over the place. Holy shit. And, maybe the sound of some seagulls and some flowing water will help cool you down. Okay, as always. Except for the times I forget. Hey Jester, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? We're gonna start off with a content warning. The content warning for this specific episode is child abuse. I say this specific episode, not all of this is gonna be in this episode. I mean the arc as a whole. Content warning. Child abuse, bullying, character deaths, detailed descriptions of gore and body horror, mentions of suicide, misogyny, and some awkward skeeviness. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm ready to read. Thank you for asking. If a certain beach bird is prone to cons, is it sea-gullable? I don't know. I have nothing to say to that, but thank you for sharing. Let's start. That was a whole new level. Yeah. Yeah. Good night, Llama. Some of them are hits, some of them are misses. That, I don't know what that was. Okay, let me just boot my own volume down a little lower, because this is very loud on the ears. Was it a miss? Alright, I'll trust you in that case and say that sadly was a miss. Because, quick recap on what happened last episode, as in the last stream. We mostly, it was a short stream. There was one scene. It was an hour long. In that scene, Ange, who is Battler's younger sister, and who lives in the future, 12 years from 1984, she talked to the business partner of Eva, who survived the Rokujima incident. Who survived. And he helped her eventually get away from Ange's other aunt, who is after Ange's money after Eva passed away, after having found the rumored gold, most likely. That was kind of it. She had a talk, she has a plan to go do some investigating, she ran away from some scary people with suits and sunglasses and I think maybe guns? I don't know for sure actually. I might be imagining that. Oh, and she got picked up by a bodyguard who she is now traveling with. That's it. That was the whole scene. Very short stream. So if you missed that one, you didn't miss much. But now we are back on the island with the family in 1984 on the 4th of October. 3 months left to live. It was last year when you said that, right, Dr. Nanjo? I only spoke of what I could comprehensively determine from his physical condition at the time. As a result, this year too, it just so happens. So, even though it's doubtful whether Dad'll last until the end of the year, he's still totally focused on his occult research. And you still say he has only 3 months left, Doctor? Like I said, Kinzo-san's. Shouldn't you be happy that our respected father is still in high spirits? Out of a sense of parental respect, each one of you is so eager to greet father. I can see how upset you are that he's unwilling to meet with you. Consider that everyone has started aiming for the inheritance, while the sun is still in the sky. I can understand why father wouldn't want to see you. You've got it wrong, Natsuhine-san. We just... Dad isn't immortal, and he'll die someday. We aren't telling him to die, we're just saying that he will die, sooner or later. We're just talking together about how to prepare for that. And that is precisely what is so disrespectful. Stop it. You'll make your headache worse. Kraus told Natsuhi, who had risen from her chair in agitation, to sit down. Trying to smooth over the atmosphere which had suddenly become filled with suspicion, Hideyoshi put on a forced smile and motioned for everyone to calm down. Natsuhi-san, don't misunderstand. People say you should always clean up after yourself, right? We're just talking about seeing him off. We're discussing this so we can see father off neatly when he takes off on the journey he's eventually going to make. That's just like you, Hideyoshi-san. Even though you're saying the same thing, you make it sound so intellectual. Yes, that's right. Unlike you, Nissan. Quite it. We aren't getting anywhere. So, like we're saying, Aniki, forget all this about the inheritance. I don't even care if Dad hits us. To make a long story short, we want to meet Dad directly and say hello, even if he says he doesn't want to. If he's locked up in his study, we don't care if we have to borrow a key from Genji-san. Right, Rosa? Oh, no, it's not like we're forcing you. It's just, we haven't said hello to father in such a long time. If his remaining life really is short, then there's a chance we might never be able to see him again. Today might be our final opportunity to exchange words with father. That's right, just like Rosa says. If he only has 3 months left, it wouldn't be odd for him to pass away any time now, right? Are you saying that despite that, we don't have the right to talk with him one last time? Regardless of the circumstances, isn't that just a bit too much? If greeting father were truly what you wished to do, I'm sure he'd happily allow you to meet with him. But father has already heard about the disrespectful topic you hope to raise. No one would want to meet with you under those conditions. The reason you cannot meet with father is because of your own doing, and nothing else, is it not? Exactly. You shouldn't have to rack your brains to understand why father doesn't wish to see your faces, right? Father has seen through all of your tight financial situations. What are you talking about? I don't have a clue what you're going on about, Nissan. Did you really think I didn't know about the state you're in? Ava and the rest realized that he had seen through to their current lack of funds, and alternating between bluffing and returning to the point at hand and arguing back, they repeatedly pressed Kraus to let them meet with Kinzo. The sweet smell of the black tea Rosa had gone out of her way to buy had been completely wasted. The only thing she was glad about now was that the children weren't here for this. The fact that they'd gone to play at the beach right after lunch had been their only salvation. Ava made as though to tackle Kraus, and Hideyoshi and Kirie cut in between them, trying to calm both sides. Then, Kirie took a deep breath and spoke. I'm sorry, Kraus-Nissan. I know I'm an outsider, but I wonder if you'd let me say one thing. I have a proposition. What is it, Kirie-san? First, and this includes my husband as well, for many years we have belittled the efforts you've made by living with father and taking care of him. Isn't that right? Well, we've got it easy since we get to go outside, but Anuki's been babysitting Dad for decades now, and that must have been a lot of work. I'll accept that, but what's your point, Kiria? We must acknowledge that Kraus Nissan is Father's caretaker. Isn't that right? We've always feared Father, and have pushed the task of caring for him onto Kraus Nissan. Everyone should acknowledge his efforts. Isn't that right, Eva Nissan? And so what? Nissan is Father's caretaker. Don't decide things on your own, outsider. Hey now, calm down. Kiria-san, what were you talking about? Kiria, please continue. We should be more grateful towards Kraus Nissan and Natsuhine-san. We should thank them for always taking care of Father. It's our lack of gratitude that's to blame for these wasteful conflicts we keep having. Isn't that right, Kraus Nissan? I'm surprised. I did not think you, Kiria-san, would be able to understand our efforts, which even my true siblings have not stopped to consider. It's a natural duty for the successor to the Ushinomiya family headship. That's right. It's your responsibility as the successor to the headship, isn't it? It's because you take care of Father that we must acknowledge you as the successor. Hey, why are you bringing this up all by yourself? You're just an outsider. Wait, Aniki. That's right. It's just like Kiria says. Because you take care of Dad, you're the successor, Aniki. It's just like you said. Oh. Rosa noticed, and then Eva did. Ava's barking demeanor towards Kiria for advancing the discussion on her own disappeared in a flash, and she instead stared at Kraus and Natsuhi. Natsuhi couldn't understand that sudden change and was slightly flustered. Kraus-Nissan, if you'll accept just a few conditions, we won't ask you to let us meet Father again until he dies. Of course, we won't demand to be present at his deathbed. We wouldn't even mind being absent at the funeral. Oh, where are you going with this? But I may as well listen for now. Let's hear your terms. First, the term successor to the headship refers to the caretaker of the current head, Ushinomiya Kinzo. And then? Second, the duty of the caretaker is to look after Ushinomiya Kinzo for the rest of his life. To make things simple, the caretaker's job is to care for him until its final moments. You were prepared to do that from the beginning, Kraus-Nissan, so that won't cause any problems. Naturally. I have no objections to either of those terms. I'm already carrying them out. Third, on the off chance that the caretaker is neglectful in his responsibilities of supervision, he shall be deprived of his rights as a caretaker. With that sentence, all slack disappeared from Kraus's face. Natsuhi alone was still having trouble figuring out what it meant. Oh. And just what are these responsibilities of supervision that the caretaker bears? It means supervision so that Father can live the rest of his life in the best possible health. I'll be more detailed than that. In the case that Father dies, anything other than a natural death, the caretaker will be deprived of his rights as a caretaker, and his status as the successor to the headship will be lost. If that happens, the next highest in rank, Eva Nesan, will be selected as the successor. What did you say? How can you shamelessly speak such nonsense? My. The caretaker certainly has a heavy responsibility. However, people can die in many ways. For example, senile old people sometimes die when food gets caught in their throats. Normally, this is called death by old age in its broadest sense. But with your argument, that becomes death by accident, and I bear the responsibility of supervision. This is unjustly disadvantageous to me. lot of big words so far. Ooh. Gonna drink some water. Lay. I have no intention of forcing such an unfair argument on you. I'm referring to the kind of thing that the caretakers could have prevented beforehand by taking good care of and keeping his eyes on Father. It may be the caretaker's job to carry food to Father's mouth, but whether he swallows it or not is clearly outside the caretaker's responsibility. I would have absolutely no problems with the example you raise, Kraus-Nissan. So what kind of case are you referring to that might cause the caretaker to be blamed for making a blunder? For example, if he disappeared. Oh. It seems that right now, Father is in firm control of himself, but dementia might begin to set in. He might wander around when you aren't looking and get into some kind of accident, or he might get lost in the forest and go missing. Wouldn't this type of case clearly be the responsibility of the caretaker? Father's mind is perfectly healthy. There's no need to bring up dementia. One day, suddenly, I saw Father go into the forest. I chased after him, but I couldn't find him. I called the police and searched, but after being unable to find him after 7 whole years, I had him declared legally dead. My point is that we won't accept you if you use a story like that to treat him as dead. When Father passes away, an autopsy will certainly be carried out, and we will confirm that he died of old age in the most general meaning, within the bounds of common sense. A death of any other cause will be held as the caretaker's responsibility. See? These are all things you have toiled away at all this time, Kraus-Nissan. These aren't strange conditions or anything of the sort, right? You are mocking us, disgracefully so. I find it hard to imagine why my husband must be coerced into a rule that disgraces him in this way. Actually, I've been suspecting it since last year. No, everyone here probably suspects it as well. Eva-san and Hideyoshi-san, Rudolph-san and Rosa-san too. Everyone here has suspected it the whole time, but it was so frightening to imagine that no one actually said it. I see, so this is what you're trying to say. That Father is already dead, and that I have been hiding it. That's right. That's one of the theories I thought of as a key to solve the last mystery in the previous game. You mean the very last bit? The mystery of who killed Dr. Nanjo? That's right. The witch definitely said a lot in red. She mentioned the names of all 18 people and announced whether they were alive or dead, and then she claimed that there are no humans besides them. But with this theory, I can weave my way through that gap. I see. So this is one of the answers that doesn't cause those two to contradict. Makes sense. See what I'm saying? You catch on pretty quick. It's nice that I don't have to explain. No 19th person exists on this island, and yet this trick lets us mix in an unknown new character. In other words, the names of all 18 people don't necessarily correspond to the 18 people on the island. And that's it. The witch mentioned the names of 18 people one after another and announced whether they were alive or dead. And on top of that, she announced that there were no humans other than the 18. There was a single illusion in there. It wasn't guaranteed that the 18 names of people equaled the 18 people on the island. When she named off all 18 people and announced who was alive and who was dead, she hid the name of culprit X, and instead mixed in someone who wasn't on this island. By doing that, even though the culprit was on the island, she was able to leave him out of the list of living or dead people. The person who was mixed in wasn't actually on the island, so he didn't count towards the total number of people on the island. By this, even though the culprit counted towards the total of 18 people on the island, it was possible for his name to not be listed. The two statements in red are completely independent, so this theory creates no contradictions. If someone's name was used to hide the existence of the culprit, that name must satisfy several conditions. First of all, even though this person isn't on the island, they've got to be someone we think is on the island. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to trick us. And it's best if this person happens to be dead. No alibi is more perfect than death. After all, at that point, the mystery is based on the fact that the crime was impossible for all 18 people. Is it something like that? Yeah, that's it. And that person was grandfather. Right now, there's only one thing Kirie-san could be about to say. We thought grandfather was locked up in his study, saying that he didn't want to meet with anyone. But there's a possibility that he's actually dead already, and that Uncle Kraus is lying when he claims that grandfather is alive. That's right. Grandfather was closed up in his room the whole time and no one saw his face. Maybe he was already dead. And Uncle Kraus and the others were conspiring together, trying to trick everyone. If Kinzo dies, the distribution of the inheritance occurs. However, if Kinzo doesn't die, no, if he dies, but it isn't announced, the distribution of the inheritance won't take place. In other words, Uncle Kraus could have taken all of grandfather's wealth to himself. That's right, he's got more than enough motive. Maybe a 19th person X really doesn't exist on this island. But a person X existed, and that person was the 18th person. In other words, there were originally 17 people on this island, not 18. Then an unknown person X snuck in and committed the crime. How's that, Beato? Come out. I've just solved the final, biggest mystery from last time. As Battler claimed that forcefully, the crisp sound of clapping came out of nowhere, and their surroundings turned bright, becoming the usual witch's tea room. Bravo, bravo. I wish I could deny that someone as incompetent as you has finally gotten a feel for it, but somehow or another, you've managed to come up with a single answer. Even a lump of concrete can stop thinking. So you have now finally evolved into a being with intelligence. You might say you've finally taken a step forward from the crying creature you were before, just licking my shoes and grinding your teeth. I can't believe that stupid wordplay threw me for so many loops last time. My lameness pisses even me off. Alright, Beato, repeat it. If you can announce that the 18 people on the island included grandfather, just try and do it. Yeah, you can't. Because he was already dead. This is the end of your deception. Well now, what have we here? Shall I slice that in two with the red truth? No, it might also be good to hold back for now and let you get all excited. If I'm going to push you off a cliff anyway, it would be more interesting to lure you to a higher place first. As Beato sneered obnoxiously, she looked like she was searching for an expression that would tick me off even more. As though she was saying that the answer I'd reached was impossibly ridiculous. Compared to me, annoyed as I was with the witch's attitude, Gretel had a blank and composed expression on her face, almost as though she'd expected the witch to act that way. I see. Just like how Battler has learned and grown, so has the witch. What's wrong, Beato? Don't act so tough. I asked if you can repeat it. Answer. Stop it, Battler. The witch won't answer so easily. She won't do it until she thinks it'll benefit her. What? What do you mean? You've been toyed with by this red truth in the games up until now, so the witch has used it many times. But now, the situation is different. You're trying to draw the red truth out of her, and are instead using it as your weapon. In this situation, there's no way the witch will keep firing off the red without reason. Right? Gretel, or whoever you are, it seems your mind is quite sharp, unlike battlers. What a fearsome enemy I've welcomed in. That is correct. When Battler hopes I'll use the red truth, do I have any responsibility to do so? No. I don't even have a crumb from that croissant you ate this morning's worth of responsibility to please you. You bastard. Yes, that's the face. I started playing with the red truth just because I wanted to see that face. I have no reason to play around if it won't give me a chance to see you look like that. You just don't like losing, right? Just saying whatever you can to trick me because you can't answer my demand won't work. Don't be so full of yourself. An answer like that could be cut to pieces without any effort. But I won't go out of my way to speak in red. I won't say it because that's what you're asking me to do. Do you know why? You just said it. You want to push him off at the sweetest spot. This ill-natured witch is saying she won't use the bread anymore because that's what you want. In other words, she won't go along with this game of telling her to repeat things anymore. Exactly. Unlike Battler, everything goes quickly with this girl, with no need for explanations. I will say what I please with the red truth, at the time that I desire. That's it. Basically, it's the witch's right to use the red truth as she pleases. She doesn't have to use it at whatever time the human side desires. But even that depends on the situation. The situation? What do you mean? The witch has no responsibility to respond when you tell her to repeat something. But it does become her responsibility if, and only if, your claim can destroy the witch theory. After all, in this trial court without a judge, that which is not refuted becomes the truth. Just like how the witch theory made by the witch will instantly become truth if you collapse and stop thinking. Then, since she doesn't have a counter-argument for my guess, that means it's right? It's right that the culprit is the mysterious 18th person X and that grandfather is already dead? At least until the witch argues back. Truth always loses to new truths farther in the future. The tricky part is that even the timing of the counter-argument is up to the witch. In other words, maybe your reasoning just now is correct, or maybe the witch is refraining from arguing back even though you're wrong. Or the witch may be ignoring it because it doesn't shake the basis of the witch theory in the first place. But either way, we can't tell the difference at the current time. Is that more or less it? Damn you, Lady Pencastle, for throwing in such a troublesome piece. Thanks to that, I'm losing all my lines. The witch has learned that she can respond to your demands to repeat phrases at a later time. Maybe you could even call it a delayed move. She's messing with me. So even if I announce some mistaken reasoning, there's a possibility that Beato will intentionally let me flounder about without denying that guess, and at the very end, when I propose an even more massive line of reasoning, she can cut it off at the base and spin everything around. A single piece of reasoning becomes a bridge to the next piece. By demanding that she repeat lines, I've been able to strengthen my position and advance bit by bit. But since that bastard Beato learned this strange delay tactic, I can no longer confirm or deny my reasoning. This is like finally finding a staff that'll let me search around in the darkness only to lose it right away. I'm just stuck now, right? Hey, Battler. If you make a despairing face like that, I won't be able to stop drooling, you see? From the beginning, that staff was nothing more than something I gave you because you were so worthless. All this means is that you can finally challenge me without a handicap, right? But that alone doesn't change the fact that demanding that you repeat things is one of Battler's ways to fight back. As I already said, as long as it's something fatal that'll destroy the witch theory, the witch is obligated to argue back, and therefore, to speak with the red truth. While the timing of that counter-argument is up to the witch, it must be performed eventually. Isn't that right? That may be so. If I cannot deny the tricks done by humans theory that Battler lays out by the time the game ends, Battler will use that as a reason to deny me, and it will be possible for him to claim his victory. So, should we view this as a restriction on the witch's side? That the trick theory laid out by the human side, in other words, what he tells you to repeat, must be countered during the game? That is so. Battler's goal is to show that he can explain the entire pleasant game I have laid out on this island with humans and deny me. If Battler succeeds in that, at that time, he will become the victor of this game. Let me confirm the rules. Should we view the time the game ends as referring to midnight on October 5th, 1986? I kept saying 84 before, but it's 86. So. Numbers. I know how they work. I do not. Going by the time of the Dokkanjima in the game, I have no problems with that. At the time the game ends, the human side must state a theory using tricks for all of the mysteries. And if the witch side cannot argue back, the human side can proclaim its victory. Does that work? Let us be more specific. When the game ends, the witch side will be given a chance to argue back. Let's decide on an amount of time. 1 minute. If you cannot carry out your counter-argument within 1 minute, victory will be proclaimed. Then allow me to impose the same rule on you. At the time the game ends, the human side will be granted 1 minute to counter the mysteries it has been given. If even a single mystery has not been countered within that time, it becomes the witch's victory and that game is over. It would be such a killjoy to have the game stopped for a lengthy conversation, right? You asshole. Moving things along without me. But I more or less get what's going on. Even if the lines I demand that you repeat aren't countered instantly, they've got to be countered eventually. Yes, that's right. And that must happen before 1 past midnight on October 6th. But be careful. She only has to cup up one of the things you tell her to repeat. You can't proclaim your victory unless you solve all of the puzzles. Hey Camel, welcome to the stream. Blech. That sentence came out weird. I'm gonna take a real quick break actually, because I'm getting a little sleepy, so I'm just gonna grab something to drink and get up and take a quick little walk. But I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and way more awake all of a sudden. Weird. I don't know what happened. I could just suddenly feel my eyes like start to just slip closed, you know? Like I literally could fall asleep in this fucking moment. Like this very second, mid-sentence, I could fall asleep. That's what it felt like. Wait, what? Nucky? I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm too sleepy to know what that is. I would love to say I had a long day. I did not. Okay, thank you for explaining. I'm not up to date with the slang that the kids are using. I'm too old. But yeah, I don't know. So I have this sometimes. I just get really sleepy. Usually happens early in the day though. And not this bad. And usually it doesn't go away. It's weird. However, that's not why you're here. That's not why I'm here either. I'm here to read. So I'm gonna continue doing that. I forgot how to do her voice. Just as I can use the red, from now on, I will allow you to use the blue, battler. Oh shit. We unlocked the blue. Damn, that's awesome. When explaining my magical murders with human tricks, you may state your claims in blue. I am responsible for countering your blue with the red by the end of the game. Blue. So I'll talk in blue when I tell you to repeat things? Not quite. When you told me to repeat lines, you were able to do it for any trivial thing. But the blue is a little more restrictive. Unless it, by itself, denies witches, it will not be valid. It's starting to get confusing, but it's more or less something like this. For example, let's take one of the riddles in the past where I asked her to repeat something. The actual number of master keys is 5. That had been to confirm that there really were 5 master keys, when she claimed there were no more than 5. But since that by itself wouldn't deny witches, I can't say it in blue. So in order to speak in blue, I'd need to say something like this. The actual number of master keys was greater than 5. The culprit entered or exited the room with that extra key. Only then would the witch, who claimed that this was a closed-room murder made with magic, be responsible for making a counter-argument. In other words, I can't demand that she repeat something that merely confirms the premises of my reasoning. That'll probably be a significant disadvantage for me. Crap. It's enough to make the red Beato use to toy with me, until now look extremely merciful. Damn it. So even if I create a theory for a particular closed room and speak it in blue, if Beato denies it at the very, very end, I won't even have time to create my next theory? This rule is awful. Horribly bad for me. Are you gonna surrender before the fight begins again? Calm down. No one said you could only use the blue once for each mystery. Do you know what that means? No. What does it mean? In the pitiful way you've been fighting up until now, you've made a single theory, glanced at the witch's complexion, and if that one didn't work, you'd then start making another theory. You won't corner a witch like that. Then how should I fight? You don't mean... Yeah, that's right. You don't attack her riddles with a point. You assault them with a wall. You said so yourself in an earlier game that the force of your reasoning should be like that. Assault with a wall. That's right, I said so myself earlier. Guessing and trying to expose the mystery is like trying to shoot a distant target with an arrow. Until now, I've just been shooting off arrow after arrow, asking the witch if I scored a hit, and then preparing my bow again once I'm told that I've missed. There's no way I'll hit at that rate. Bullets might be a better example than arrows. If you take one shot after another at a distant target with a handgun, you probably won't hit it easily. So how can you hit it? If a handgun doesn't work, use a shotgun. Instead of a single bullet, beat her down with shot comprised of countless projectiles at once. Shot scatters so it impacts a wide area. That makes it optimal for shooting small, fast targets like birds. That's right, there's no rule that says I have to guess like a pistol, shooting off one shot off at a time. Making a single theory and just hoping that it hits is no better than stopping your own thinking. Blast away with a massive number of bullets, of guesses, and make them impact like a wall, so that only one of them hitting the target is enough. Blue, huh? I get it. If your red truth is a razor-sharp katana, then it looks like my blue is a shotgun. Now, a machine gun, whose firepower will turn the witch into a honeycomb. I see. So it's an awkward gun that fires many shots. That sort of crude analogy is just like you. The climax of a detective novel is always the same. The famous detective gathers all the suspects at once and displays a single trail of logic that works splendidly. Almost like William Tell spectacularly shooting through an apple with a single arrow. That's why I mistakenly took that to be a virtue. It's a bazooka that blows up everything. Yeah, in this guy's hands, probably. It probably would be splendid if I could shoot through the truth with a single guess. But that isn't realistic. Look at real wars. Do they really have everyone pull long guns out of the trench, aim really well, and take shots at each other one at a time? They don't, right? They fire rapidly, they fire all over the place, they pin down the enemy with a barrage. Reasoning is the same way. Because of that weird virtue, I've been stuck thinking it's better to take one line of reasoning at a time. We humans can fire off countless guesses and possibilities. The bullet is the power of imagination. Suspension of thought is a clogged barrel. The pathetic way I've been reasoning up until now is like a pea shooter. I've been so lame, weakly firing off shots, getting them denied and read, and then taking the next bullet and reloading. My blue truth, which claims that humans and tricks are what's real, will overpower its target, the illusion told by the witch, with its firepower and the force of what I can imagine. This is my Ushiromiya Battler's fighting style. Thanks to you, I have figured out my true fighting style. Thanks, Gretel. You're welcome. Makes me think of how pathetic I was before. Yeah, it's like Beato said. I've had a handicap up until now. I'll acknowledge that. New rule, understood. I have my own way of fighting. I'll show you it. That willpower is good, I like it. Then try using it right away, this blue truth of yours. Yeah, I'll use it. With this blue truth, I'll break apart your witch theory, which states that only a witch culprit was possible because everyone had alibis. This is my truth. Ushiromiya Kinzo is already dead. Therefore, the true number of people on the island is 17. By adding an unknown person X to that, it becomes 18 people. By supposing that this person X exists, the crimes will be possible even if all 17 people have alibis. That's my boy, I'm so proud. One sec. In short, if you keep preventing us from meeting with Father, we will have to accept the following theory. Simply put, Father is already dead. But you're hiding that because you don't want the inheritance to be distributed. Ridiculous. That is correct. This is worse than ridiculous. I have never heard such an insult. It'd even be possible for us to check by force whether he's alive or dead, with the police there to witness it. Isn't that right, Eva-san? Yes. That's right, Isan. There are all sorts of ways we could set you up. We could easily arrange for a situation where you'd have to hold a meeting with Father under the supervision of a third party. Still, I think that would bring a lot of shame to there should be a family. That's why I'm making this proposal. Here we have the responsibilities and duties of the caretaker, and a penalty in the worst case scenario. If you consent to those terms, we'll be able to refrain from doing something like dragging father outside. Yeah, that's right, Aniki. Didn't you just say it yourself? You're carrying out your natural duties as dad's caretaker. Kitty's condition shouldn't be anything to worry about, right? Why this overreaction? Are you really that worried about having the position of successor dragged out from under you if dad dies or dies something other than a natural death? Or else what? Do you have some reason to think father might die something other than a natural death? How could I? I see. Now I too understand how father feels. How pitiful his later years have been for him, unable even to die as he pleases. Yes, his later years truly have been pitiful. And the thought that these later years are already something of the past is exactly what we're suspecting. You could completely clear the suspicion away just by letting us meet with father. So even after being humiliated by us this much, you still won't allow us to meet with him, Kraus-Nissan? Father is probably already dead. The corpse may have been disposed of in absolute secrecy. And after taking all of the wealth for yourself as father's agent, you will make it seem that he disappeared until 7 years pass, making father a corpseless member of the deceased. I'm sorry, but please don't take it badly, okay? I'm just playing detective here. How rude can one be? You have no right to stay in this mansion. Leave immediately. I won't permit you to cross the threshold of this house again. It worked last year, but you've used up your luck if you thought it'd work this year too. Father is in a bad mood, so he can't meet with us. That was plenty suspicious last year, and yet you're doing it again. If you really wants to fake being father's agent and grab up all his assets, you should have done it a little more speedily, making him disappear without waiting for today's family conference. You really are naive, Kraus-Nissan. I have no idea what you are. However, if it's a fact that father's in a bad mood, and you're preventing us from meeting him as part of your responsibilities as his caretaker, then it's a very wonderful thing you do. In that case, if you just accept our conditions, everything will be settled here and now. After all, you care so greatly for father, Kraus-Nissan. There's no way father will die in a manner that leads to trouble during the autopsy. After all, father hates hospitals, so he'll pass away in his study, right? An autopsy will certainly be carried out no matter what happens. The only way to kill him without an autopsy would be for him to disappear. Enough, Kitty-san. I think you've bullied Nissan enough. Ava rebuked Kitty in a sickeningly kind voice. Considering the situation, that was impossible. Which is why it was sickening. I'm sure Nissan has his own difficulties to worry about, as well as his pride. True, Nissan might consider that one of his natural duties, but if you force him to put on paper and assign penalties, I could hardly blame him for getting upset. Don't you agree, Rosa? Yes, that's right. She might have made light of Kraus-Nissan's pride as the eldest son a little too much. I feel bad for him if we were to force him to sign a statement regarding the duties of the caretaker as Kitty-san has laid them out. That's right. You're doing a good job, Aniki. Taking that into account, we might consider avoiding all that about signing strange papers and worst-case penalties, and leave everything to you. You people. Not just Ava, but Rudolph and Rosa as well, with unnerving smiles on their faces as though they'd planned this beforehand, began closing out Kraus. They now understood perfectly how Kitty had cornered Kraus, and exactly where she was prepared to compromise. We were talking about a signed statement regarding the responsibilities of the caretaker. But even without signing such a thing, you can make it so that we'll never demand a meeting with Father again. If you can prove your fitness as Father's caretaker with a form of guarantee other than a signed statement, that is. Are you telling me to pay security money? Hilarious. The security money will be paid to Eva-san, Rudolph-san, and Rosa-san. 3 billion yen each. As a deposit, you will transfer 10% of that, 300 million yen, before the year is out. 9 million? Billion even. I don't have that kind of money. After Father passes away, you should be able to work it out. We've managed to investigate at least that far. You should be able to handle the deposit of 900 million yen in your current financial situation. And it should even be possible for you to borrow it from Father, right? There's no need for obvious charades anymore. How unpleasant. Truly unpleasant. It is at that. Even just the discussion of Father's inheritance was far too disrespectful. Father is already dead? My husband is hiding that and keeping all the money for himself? I have had enough of this. None of you are qualified to bear the name Ushiromiya any longer. Calm down, Natsuhi-san. We've said all we need to. Why don't we leave it at that for now? This is happening all of a sudden and on a massive scale. We might even be getting agitated ourselves. Why don't we take a break for a while and cool our heads? Kraus-Nissan probably needs a little time himself. Right, Kraus-Nissan? Time? And why would I need something like that? Don't worry. We aren't thinking of anything shady. We're just so eager to see Father that we started grumbling a bit. And Kraus-Nissan, I know real well how you're dying to get back at us for the things we said. If you're willing to go so far, then you just need to let us meet with him. Right? Isn't that right? You just got a bit stubborn and it felt awkward to say you'd let us see him after saying we couldn't all those times. Isn't that it? Right? It certainly does seem that my husband has lost his composure slightly, just like the rest of you have. We were only refusing stubbornly out of respect for Father's desire not to meet with everyone. Indeed, that's right. It was turning into another sibling fight like the old days, and I started feeling stubborn as well. Let us cool our heads. I understand how much you all want to meet with Father. I will pass that on to him. I'll find some way to convince Father to meet with you. Will that do? Yeah. I think it'd be okay to give Kraus-Nissan some time to persuade Father. Yep. We're counting on you, Aniki. Please persuade him to meet with us. After all, you're Dad's caretaker. And as for persuading him, let's set a limit on it to sometime tonight, okay? When tomorrow comes, we'll confirm Father's well-being, even if we have to break down the door to his study. You have no problems with that, I take it? Nissan? Do as you like. I see. It seems even the time I've been given to persuade him is short. Let us go, Natsuhi. We shall ask him to join us for dinner at least. Right. Kraus left the parlor with Natsuhi. Once their footsteps disappeared, Hideyoshi took a deep breath, smirking and flopping onto the sofa. Kiryu-san, you're a frightening person. Sorry for speaking out of turn. I apologize. No. You didn't corner him like we'd originally planned, but in the end, this was even better. Just like always, I've got to bow my head to you. But can he really prepare 900 million? I believe we estimated that 750 million would be the most Kraus-Nissan could afford with his current financial situation. Isn't 900 million gouging him too much? If we can't do it, that's fine too. If we do something like lowering it to 750 million so Kraus Nissan can save face, it'll look like we're compromising and it'll be easier to settle, right? And if he really does come out with 900 million, that's even better. Nissan is probably having a strategy meeting with Natsuhi-san about now. It really will be interesting to see what kind of twisted logic our proud Nissan comes up with as an excuse. Convince father? There's no way he can. There's no way to convince someone who isn't even there. The siblings have all come, despite their various circumstances, for this annual family conference. Kraus and Natsuhi could be seen in Ginzo's dimly lit study. Every once in a while, thunder could be heard, and the dimly lit room flickered with light. It seemed that the island would be closed off by the storm very soon. Father, please, just this once, show those disrespectful people the majesty of the head. It's useless. The large shadow of a person standing by the window, his majestic back facing them, answered quietly and forcefully. He hung his head and shook. Eventually, they could hear a mumbling laugh over his shoulder. It's useless, it's all useless. 3 months left to live? An almost finished geezer? To whom exactly are you referring? You fools! Did you wander over here because your siblings threatened you? Know your shame! As Kinzo turned and brushed his cape, it flashed forcefully through the room's stale air. That air pressure truly signified Ushinomiya Kinzo's majesty and willpower itself. After being blown back by that wind, it wasn't strange that Kraus landed on his butt. As though showing consideration for Kraus, who looked as though his legs had been swept out from under him, Natsuhi also crouched down. Then, with a thunk, Kinzo's footsteps approached with a heft that signified his dignity. Father. You fool! I heard from Kano. Just how far did you pathetically let your siblings lead you around by the nose? Father, my husband is doing his best to protect your honor. Without lending an ear to Natsuhi's words, Kinzo extended his palm to Kraus's collar as the latter sat on the floor. No, he curled his fingers, leaving only his pointer finger out, then took that finger and pressed it up against Kraus's collar, twisted it, and slowly, with just one finger, picked Kraus up into the air. You really are a pathetic fool. You let your wife speak in your defense. If you have an excuse, give it yourself. Kraus clawed at the air. Kinzo's brawny finger was choking him. He couldn't even open his mouth, much less talk. However, even if he had been able to open his mouth, as he was now, there was no way he'd be able to think up an excuse that Kinzo would accept. Still, how could this power be described? No one would call Kinzo an old man after seeing this superhuman strength. Father, my husband is fighting in his own way. Please, forgive him. Natsuhi, fighting is a process you go through before winning. The process you go through before losing isn't called fighting. That's called being pathetic. You call this my successor? A thunder roared. Kinzo laughed heartily as though nothing could be more pleasant. And when he finished laughing, he threw his son away like he was scrap paper, slamming him against the wall. Dear, are you okay? Kraus slid down the wall, rubbing his throat as though in pain. Natsuki ran up to him and looked after him. But without showing any interest in the two of them, Kinzo returned to the space near the window, as though he had been there the whole time, and looked up at the thunderclouds of misfortune. I thought I would have no regrets in my life if only I could meet Beatrice. But it seems it won't go so smoothly. It was promised from the beginning that nothing received from the witch would remain. However, the Ushiromiya name is not the property of the witch. Who is fit to succeed that name? It seems that this alone must be resolved by my own hand. Rejoice, Kraus. I have changed my mind. Father. So... I have no desire to have dinner with you cowards. However, I will attend the family conference afterwards. Father, thank you very much. There I shall make a great announcement regarding the succession of the head. I will resolve your foolish quarrel myself. Well. Guess he's less dead than we thought, perhaps, maybe. Forcefully opening the door with a clunk, Rosa flew in with Maria. Is Genji-san or anyone there? It doesn't matter who. Bring us a bath towel. There was already a full-blown typhoon outside, and it was starting to pour down hard. Even though she'd had an umbrella, Maria had been in the rose garden amid all that wind and rain the whole time. She had grown ice cold. Maria had gotten into a minor fight with Rosa in the rose garden and had been told to stay there. She had done as she was told and continued to wait in that spot, even though the rain was pouring down. Rosa certainly had gotten a little emotional and angry, but Maria's stubborn whim was probably more to blame. The cousins, who had seen that exchange, were relieved to see that mother and child were close to each other again. Rosa scrubbed Maria's head with a towel. She seemed overcome with worry that Maria had caught a cold, but Maria herself was nonchalant. Are you okay? You didn't catch a cold, did you? Maybe we really should go back for now and get a change of clothes.
Ooh, I'm just fine. More importantly, I'm hungry, so food's better than changing clothes. Ooh.
She looks okay, Aunt Rosa. She's gotta be if she's this spirited. It's a really good thing she had an umbrella. I was thinking she might be soaked to the bone. The fact that she had an umbrella certainly is a silver lining. But Maria, even if you have an umbrella, you've got to get to shelter when it starts raining so hard, okay? Little girls definitely shouldn't let their bodies get cold.
Ooh.
It's okay, Jessica-chan. It's Mama's fault for telling her to stay there. I'm really sorry. Really sorry.
Ooh. I'm a good girl. I'm a good girl for doing what Mama said. I stayed there even though it was cold. Stayed there until Mama came. Ooh.
Yes, you really are a good girl, Maria. You did exactly what Mama said. Very well done. But next time, even if Mama tells you to do something, find some shelter if it starts raining like that. Okay? Promise, Mama.
Ooh. Promise, Mama. Ooh.
As Rosa gently held Maria, they joined their pinkies together and promised. Battler and the others realized that by touching her mother's pinky, the warmth had started to return to Maria's body. Kano-kun, thanks for the towel. That really helped. Then, if you would excuse me. As Kanon bowed with a blank expression, as though he'd done nothing that required gratitude, he left the parlor. Okay, it's already dinner time. Let's all go together. I'll even give Maria my dessert for being so good.
Ooh, really, Mama? Ooh, get dessert. Ooh, love Mama, love Mama.
Maria, don't jump around. Mama loves you too, Maria. Love Maria, love Maria.
I love Mama too, love Mama. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Rosa and Maria looked really close. Even the cousins who watched started to feel a long-forgotten warmth fill up their chests. You know, that might be the age where you're on your best terms with your parents. It wasn't like that for me. Mom was always yelling at me to study, study, study. That's because they love their children. A parent's love isn't always gentle and indulgent. My mother was strict with me too, but now I realized it was because she treasured me so.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Love Mama, love Mama.
Love Maria, love Maria. So, shall we get some food? Let's be friends and hold hands.
Ooh, be friends and hold hands. Mama and me, friends, friends.
Yes, that's right. Mama and Maria are friends. We'll always be like this. I love you, Maria. What's going on all of a sudden? What's up? The sudden sound had come from the teacup Gretel had been holding, which had fallen and smashed. Sorry, I got careless. Sorry for dropping it. The cup on the floor had smashed to pieces. Would it really have made such a sound and smashed to pieces just by being dropped from that height? Even someone as thick-headed as Battler could realize that she was in a bad mood over something. But he couldn't understand why she had suddenly grown so displeased. Tough sins. Oh no. Hey Lulu, welcome. I'm sorry you're suffering, but also, hi, thank you for being here. Oh, how are you doing? Minus the suffering. When she made to bend over and pick up the fragments of the cup, Ronove appeared out of nowhere and stopped her. You will injure yourself. Leave the cleaning up to me. Shall I bring you another cup of black tea? I don't need it. I guess a demon's black tea just doesn't match my tastes. That's rude. Wow. That was very... I'm not offended on his behalf. I'm not. Oh? To think there's someone whose tastes aren't satisfied even by Ronave's tea. I must respect your discerning palate. I'm getting bored, so I'll go out for a second. Bored? Wait a sec, this is where things start to get interesting. About now, Maria's probably going to say that she got an umbrella and a letter from Beatrice again, right? This is the essential part. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm counting on you to clean this up. Leave it to me. Without saying anything else, Gretel disappeared of her own accord. Her form literally melted and disappeared into thin air. There was definitely a displeased expression on her face. But neither Battler nor Ronove, and of course not Beato either, could understand why her mood had so suddenly worsened. All that remained was the scent of the black tea she'd spilled. be more blunt, it disgusts me.
Why are you so irritated, Ange?
Why, you say? Isn't it obvious?
I don't understand.
Even Marione-chan, with that blank expression on her face, irritated me. As I held my hands, palms up in the empty air, from out of nowhere, a single book landed on them. It was Marione-chan's diary. Even though I didn't turn the pages were flipped through, despite there being no wind, and the door to Marione-chan's world opened.
Why do you think I'm not happy, Ange?
Think about it objectively.
By objectively, you mean from your viewpoint, right?
Are you trying to say the truth is different from me and you, Marione-chan?
Truth can change its form depending on the observer, and observers from the future always overwrite that form. Ange, what are you trying to do to my happiness?
The pages of the diary were flipped through at greater and greater speeds. Then, a brilliant light poured out from the depths of the diary, swallowing everything up and painting over everything with white. Sorry, Maria. Mama has to take care of some urgent business that's piled up, so I need to stay holed up at the company for a while. I probably won't be able to come back home until late at night the day after tomorrow.
Then, what about your promise to go to the movies with me on Sunday?
The movies? Judging by Rosa's tone, she had clearly forgotten that promise. But Maria's response to that was an apology for asking. I'm sorry. Maria apologized for troubling her mother by asking that question.
I'll stay home. I'll definitely wait patiently. I'll take a bath every day and change my underwear. And I know where the money is. I'll go to a different store every day. I'll try not to go out too late. If a policeman asks, I'll say I'm running errands for Mama. I'll do what Mama says, like Mama says.
That's right. You really are being a good girl. If you do that, I'll buy you a present. Okay? Go to bed by 9. You mustn't tell the teacher or any adults that Mama isn't coming home. Okay?
Yes. So, Mama, do your best at work. Do your best. Finish your work and come back as soon as you can. I won't cry all night and annoy the neighbors anymore. So come back quickly.
Well then. I'm busy, so I'll hang up. Be a good girl and wait. Don't do anything you shouldn't. Goodbye. Click. With a tone of finality in her voice, Rosa hung up the phone without waiting for Maria's answer. Maria politely set down the receiver and returned to the sofa. There sat the stuffed animal Sakutaro, with whom she had been watching TV until a second ago. Sakutaro was holding the remote control to the TV. The TV had been turned off because of the phone call. He looked like he was telling her to push the switch because he wanted to watch TV again quickly.
Sakutaro, wanna watch TV? Rie?
I forgot his voice.
You don't wanna watch anymore, Maria? If the actors team gets all the questions right, they can still make a huge comeback. Rie? No, that's enough TV.
Again, Mama was busy with her work and didn't come home. Mama works so much overtime that she doesn't come home until late. Because she has dates or something, she always comes home after drinking a lot of alcohol, even though she's not good at drinking. And with a pale face, she'll go straight into the shower and then to bed. And because she has overtime even on the weekends or something, she says she has to spend the night there, and almost never comes home. Recently, she started saying something about how she's got a big job she's working on, so this sort of thing happens a lot. The pictures I did my best on during drawing time were laughed at by everyone. But even so, I wanted to show them just to Mama, and once again, she won't be able to look at them for me. And I could talk about the time everyone pushed the job of cleaning up onto me, but I did my best by myself and was praised by the teacher. Or the time I went shopping, and the man at the shop said I'm always such a good kid and gave me a free canned coffee. Why did he give a child coffee? You're not supposed to do that. Then there was a time I wanted to encourage Mama because she worked so hard on her job, and hid a card for her under her pillow. And there's a lot of other things I wanted to talk about. Mama's working really hard at her job. She's working with all of her strength so that we can eat every day. I hate her job. If only she'd just quit. The job is an important thing for adults to do. It lets Maria eat, buy clothes, pays for school lunches, and pays the deposit for summer camp. All that happens because Mama works and earns money. I don't need food. I don't need clothes. I don't need school lunches and don't want to go to summer camp. It's not like any of the groups will let me join in. Who do you? Just now, on the phone, Mama promised that she'd buy a present when she comes back from home, right? From work, right? I think she made that promise because you're important to her, Maria. And she'd feel bad if she made you lonely. You think so? Who do you? It definitely isn't a pain for her, or annoying, or anything. Mama also wants to be by your side all the time, Maria. It's also painful and sad for her, since she can't do that. I remember when she spent the whole night by your side, crying. Yeah, I didn't understand why she was crying, but she was so sad, and I couldn't do anything but stay silent by her side. Thank you for the save reminder, I will say right now. There we go. Thank you so much. I remember the last thing Mama said then. She said, "Thank you, Maria." She said that just by being by her side, you're her only ally in the world. Who do you remember? Yeah, I'm her only ally in the world. She said. Sakutaro set the remote control on the table, crawled up onto the sofa, sat on my lap, and spoke to me, gazing into my eyes. I'm sure Mama feels the same way you do, Maria. The designs Mama draws are the only ones laughed at by her clients. Only Mama's company has troublesome jobs pushed onto it by other companies. Mama is the president, so she has to take care of everything by herself. Only Mama's company never gets included in the business of other companies. Only Mama's company. Mama's only ally is Maria. If you tell her to stop doing her job, where in the world could she find an ally? Sakutaro. The only person that I have in the whole world is Maria. The only person Mama has in the whole world is Maria. What about you, Maria? I've got Mama, and I've got you too, Sakutaro. So, Maria, you aren't lonely at all. Who do you? Ooh. Since Mama's busy with her work, she can't be together with you very often, but please, don't blame her for that, Maria. In exchange, I'll always be here. We'll be by your side forever. So don't cry, okay? Who do you? Can't your sadness be stopped if I'm with you? Sakutaro. From the corner of Maria's heart, which she had been doing her best to seal up, drops of sadness finally dripped down. Drip, drip, drop, drop, drip, drop, drip, drop. Even though weekends when Mama didn't come home weren't that rare a thing, it wasn't as though that night was particularly painful or sad compared to other nights. And yet, Maria's tears poured down.
Maria, don't cry. I'll always be with you. Even if you cry, Maria, I won't. I'm a lion cub, so I won't cry even if I'm lonely. Even though I want to cry too, I won't. Why don't you cry, Sakotaro? Even though you're so sad that you can't hold back the tears, you won't cry? But if I cry, who will make you feel better? So I won't. After all, I want you to get your spirits up. If I get my spirits up, will Mama come back? When Mama comes back, if she's welcomed by a happy Maria, I'm sure she'll be happy. Who do you? Mama will be happy? Who do you? If you do that, then I'm sure her fatigue from work will also be healed. And then I'm sure she'll start feeling better sooner and will play with you a lot. When you come home and Mama's waiting for you there, and she's in the kitchen in high spirits, don't you feel really happy? I'm sure Mama feels the same way. So if I watch over the house in high spirits, Mama will be happy too? Who do you?
Sakotaro nodded deeply with his big head. The tears couldn't keep falling from Maria's eyes. If she greeted Mama with a tear-stained face, Mama would probably get sad too.
You know about it, Maria. You can't use the magic that creates smiles if you aren't smiling too. Yeah, I know. So I won't cry anymore. Hey, Maria. I have an idea for how to have a fun time. Do you want to hear it? What? Mama won't come back until late night Sunday. So let's have a pajama party and keep it a secret from Mama. A pajama party? Until you get tired late tonight, eat candy and drink soda in bed and play with me. A pajama party? Yeah, sounds fun. I don't have to go to bed at 9, right? Mama won't get mad if I don't sleep. This is a secret between me and you, only for when Mama isn't around. So tonight, until you get sleepy, let's have fun the whole time. Let's eat jelly beans and try to guess what color we'll get next. Let's split up with peanuts and try to guess which half is the grandpa. Let's search for treasure in the closet. And more, and more. I wonder what it'll taste like if we mix cola and melon soda. Ew. I wanted to try it once, but asked Mama if it was okay and she got mad. Ew. Let's keep it a secret from Mama and try it out. Tonight, let's play a lot, laugh a lot, and blow away our tears with happiness. Don't worry, it'll definitely be fun if I'm here. I'll definitely make you happy, Maria. Yeah. It'll definitely be fun if Sakotaro's there. I'll definitely be happy. Thank you, Sakotaro. I won't cry anymore. Let's play all we can, get happy all we can, and say welcome back when Mama gets home. Good you. Tonight, let's play a lot and feel a lot better. Let's have the kind of secret party we can only have when Mama isn't here. If we're noisy enough, I'm sure plenty of friends will come to play from the land of the Looking Glass in Wonderland. Then, we'll have so many friends that we won't be able to get bored. Who do you? Who do you?
Then, Maria began her pajama party all alone with Sakotaro, having fun until late into the night. She played by sticking her hand into the bag of jelly beans without looking, trying to guess which color she'd pull out next. Sakotaro had good intuition and got it right a lot. Maria also had a brilliant streak where she guessed right 4 times in a row. The game where she split peanuts open and tried to guess which was the grandpa was easier than guessing the color of the jelly beans, so she got it right a lot. Sucking her salt-covered fingers was impolite, but that was the yummiest part. She liked both cola and melon soda on their own. She hoped that by mixing her 2 favorite drinks, there might be a flash of light like alchemy. and a new drink that no one had ever tasted before would be created. She got excited about how, if it turned out really delicious, she'd call it Sakutaro soda and sell it. But, unexpectedly, it had a weird taste that she hadn't hoped for. And the color was somewhat dull and thick. Maybe I shouldn't have been surprised that black and green mixed together would make this. Too bad. I imagined that it had become a sparkling pineapple color. But it was an awesome, incredible, fun night. If it's this fun here, maybe Mama will feel like coming home and drop by out of the blue. So I got the feeling that Mama might suddenly come home and went to the front door many times to check. But there was no way Mama would be able to come home when she was this busy with work. But rather than a feeling of loneliness, it felt just a little disappointing that Mama couldn't join in on this fun late night party. Sometime soon, I'll do this when Mama is around and let her join in. Mama likes some things that I don't think are yummy, so maybe she'll really like Sakutaro soda. When Mama comes back tired, I'll serve her some. And more than anything, I want to at least write about this fun night in a letter and tell Mama about it, so that these feelings of happiness will reach Mama too. Her work is always so tough and she comes home so tired, so I hope I can share this happiness with her. Mama will almost certainly come home tired late Sunday night, and I hope I can brighten her day even just a little by sharing this happiness. I gently placed that letter on Mama's desk. To Mama. Good job with your work again today. Let me share my happiness with you. From Maria. Then, I decided to give a present to Sakutaro for proposing this wonderful party. It was a small red muffler I found when searching for treasure in the closet. Reading is hard. When I was still very young, Mama knitted this tiny thing. Maria was embroidered on it with knitting wool. I softly wrapped that muffler around Sakutaro. It really suited him, accenting his yellow with red very well.
What do you? Does it look good on me?
Sakutaro looked embarrassed as he wore his first present ever. Yeah, it really looks good on him.
Ooh. Sakutaro, thank you so much for everything. It was so fun tonight. I can't even remember why I was crying. Let's be together from now on. And let's always play and laugh together. Good to you. Love you, Maria. Me too. Love you, Sakutaro.
After playing so wildly, Maria's room was a mess. Maybe she played a little too much. But I'm tired for today, so let's sleep together. And tomorrow, we'll clean up together and welcome Mama with a clean room. Alright, Sakutaro?
Good to you. See? I am. No, we are so happy, right?
Is this your happiness, Maria One-chan?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Even though you were looking forward to that movie so much, and Aunt Rosa promised that she'd definitely take you, she completely forgot.
She just happened to forget because she was so busy with work. Even if she remembered, with her work, there'd be nothing she could do. Whether she remembered or not, Mama would have spent the night at work. She couldn't go to the movies. Whether she remembered or not is a minor issue.
There's no way that's a minor issue. After all, when Aunt Rosa answered movie on the phone, it was obvious that she'd completely forgotten her promise. And when she heard that, Maria One-chan's mood definitely darkened. Well, like you say, even if Aunt Rosa had remembered her promise, you wouldn't have been able to go to the movies in the end. But even so, to think that your mother just forgot her promise to spend one of her few days off with you, it's sad. I'd be mad.
Yeah, it was sad. Because even if she had remembered, we wouldn't have been able to go to the movies. But after that, I had a very, very fun night with Sakutaro. You must have thought that pajama party looked really fun too, Ange.
There's no way that would be fun. I mean, all that messing around you did that night was just intentionally making a big fuss about nothing, all so you could forget that you were lonely and that your mother wasn't coming home.
That's not true. I really did have a fun party with Sakutaro.
No, that's wrong. You were just so sad and you hated your mother so much for forgetting her promise that you made a mess of your room.
Where was something like that ever written in my diary?
It isn't written anywhere, but by reading in the gaps between every line, I can understand your feelings. You didn't have a good time at all that evening. And you stayed up late when you were told not to, broke the strict rule about eating sweets outside of snack time, and when even that didn't bear your sadness, you went wild in your room and made a mess of it, right? And after you made a mess of your room and were all tired out, all you did was claw at the bed sheets and cry yourself to sleep, right?
The diary does say that Mama probably forgot her promise about the movie, and that I stayed up late having a pajama party with Sakutaro, and made a mess of my room searching for treasure.
Yes, and this is what it means. You were starving for Aunt Rosa's love, Marione-chan. And Aunt Rosa always put her work and her public image first, always keeping you on the back burner. That's what disgusts me, because I know just how superficial Aunt Rosa's words of love for you were. You should realize this yourself. So, how can you say you're happy despite that? I don't understand that part of you, Marione-chan. Even at my age, I can't understand it at all. Why aren't you sad? Why is it that you can experience a reality filled with misfortune and call yourself happy? I can't do it. I can't understand it.
You're a sad kid, Ange.
I don't get it. Why are you pitying me?
Even though a fact about a really fun pajama party is written about in my diary, if the same fact is observed by different people, it has a different form.
I remember talking about something like this with Bernkastel. Truth is unfixed and changes its form every time it's witnessed. By the way it's perceived, in other words, depending on the person who perceives it, a single truth becomes different truths, and truths of the past are painted over by truths of the future.
In this diary, I wrote that what happened that night was very, very fun.
You described the events of that night as something very happy.
And yet, when you read the diary, the events of that night sound very, very sad.
Even though you describe it as a happy scene, I read between the lines and realize that that wasn't true.
Stop it. This tells of a happy night. This is the truth of that night. Please don't take this happy truth and paint over it with a new, different truth.
Are you happy with this, Marione-chan?
Yes, I'm happy. That's why I feel sad for you, since you won't be able to feel happiness in a similar situation.
Right now, I'm like she was then, just as isolated with no friends. Ange had accepted her isolated reality for what it was, but Maria painted over her isolated reality with the reality of happiness. Ushiromi and Maria took a sad truth and changed it into happiness. That was the only and yet very large difference between me and Maria One-chan. And even though I'm unable to accept it, I'm also jealous of that power.
Yes, that's right. This is power. I was able to find happiness with that power. Because you don't have that power, You can't find happiness, Ange.
What is that power?
I didn't know what to call that power either. Not at this point in time, at least. Eventually, I was taught its true form. I'll talk about it later, on the next page. So then, late Sunday night, Mama came back with a present, just like she'd promised.
I'm back.
Mama, welcome home. Who do you? Mama came back. Mama came back.
Waiting to greet Rosa as she returned home all tired out was Maria, in an unbelievably good mood, holding Sakutaro. Most likely, Rosa's worn-out expression was partly because she really was tired, but partly because it would be a pain when Maria, who should have been grumbling after staying home alone for several days, would cling to her, sobbing. However, when she was welcomed by an unbelievably happy Maria, and found that her fears were unbelievably needless, Rosa couldn't hide her surprise. What's going on, Maria? You're in a great mood. Is someone here? It was strange enough to make Rosa think that a friend had come over and that she'd come home right when they were having a good time playing together. But there were no other shoes by the entrance. Even though Maria was in such high spirits, she had been home alone. At first, Rosa was suspicious that the cause of this unexpected good mood could be nothing good, but that really was her needless fear, and in any event, Maria really had been in a good mood while she watched over the house. Even if Rosa's heart had been as cold and hard as a rock after being welcomed with a smile like this, Rosa started to honestly accept that smile, and a smile rose to her own face automatically. In that smile, you could no longer see any of the weariness of someone who'd been unable to return home for several days. Maria kept talking about what a fun time she'd had playing with her stuffed animal, Sakutaro. Rosa really hadn't imagined that the stuffed animal she herself had given would be so appreciated, and she couldn't hide her pleased surprise. I see. So you spent the time together with Sakutaro. Well done, Maria. Here's a present for Maria and Sakutaro for being so good.
Who do you? A present. A present. Ew. What is it? What is it?
Both Maria and Sakutaro started jumping around. There were two presents. One contained an assortment of Western sweets. Inside was a Scotch cake. It looked to be of very high quality, but Maria was more interested in the other one. The other one was an even bigger box, and it was pretty heavy. Go ahead and open it. They might become new friends for you and Sakutaro, okay?
What? What's this? What's this?
Inside, laid there like chess pieces, were about 20 small ceramic figures shaped like animals. Squirrels, rabbits, small birds, dogs, and cats. And they were all holding musical instruments. In addition to them, there was also a panorama-style background. A forest scene was drawn on it. The small forest animals were gathered in a plaza, and it looked like they were having a good time. Rosa set it up on the table. And when she had then lined up the ceramic figures like chess pieces in front of it, it became a band of forest animals. Isn't it wonderful? I saw it in a store window and I was taken with it at a glance. This is a present for you, for being such a good girl home alone, Maria.
Ooh, thank you, Mama. Awesome, Sakutaro. Look how much our friends have grown. It's just like you said, Sakutaro. It was true that if we had a fun, noisy time, we'd get more friends. Right? Didn't I tell you? Look, we have more friends. Look, we have more friends. Who do you?
Relieved that her gift had been appreciated, Rosa remembered that she had been filled with several days of weariness.
Mama, you worked really hard. Go take a shower. If you take a hot one, I'm sure your weariness will go away. Want to take a bath? I'll choose what to put in the bath, okay? Thank you. But it's already late, so get ready to go to bed. Mama is tired, so I'll just take a shower and go to sleep. I have to get up early tomorrow. Yeah, got it. Here, Mama, I'll take your coat off. I can do it myself. Thank you. Mama, your coat is full of smells from outside. Oh, sorry, something fell out. I'll pick it up, okay? When she took Rosa's coat, a receipt or ticket stub or something fell out. It had been in Mama's pocket, so it was probably important. Maria hurriedly picked it up. It looked like a ticket for the green car or the Shinkansen or something. Atami? Wasn't that the place famous for its hot springs? At that moment, with a razor-sharp sound, the warm atmosphere shattered. Instead of the Rosa who had been there just a second ago, enjoying the gift with her daughter and recovering from her weariness with a long-awaited return home, there stood a person who looked exactly the same, but who had a completely different, terrifying expression on her face. In her hand was the ticket stub that Maria had picked up. She had stolen it from Maria's hand in an instant. Just a few seconds too late, but the pain of her hand that had been hit and her mother's expression, Maria realized that she must have done something wrong. But she didn't know what she had done that had gotten her in trouble. It was probably because of that ticket stub-like thing. Was she not supposed to touch it? Even though she had tried so hard to welcome Mama with fun and happiness, she had touched something important to Mama without asking, and it ruined that pleasant atmosphere. So Maria apologized immediately. Sorry. Even though she must have heard those words of apology, Rosa's expression actually darkened. Maybe those weren't the words she had been hoping for. Maria didn't know what to do, and stared at her mother's reaction. Then, even though it should have been such an important ticket stub, Rosa crushed it up and hurried off to her room. Maria didn't really understand what she had done wrong. I must have done something I shouldn't have. Hi there, Magikarp, I assume. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? I'm reading this very long visual novel. And it's about to get real sad. Doing good? Great. Welcome, welcome. Just in case, if you're not familiar with this series, thank you, I appreciate that a lot, actually. I guess then I don't have to warn you that we are very far into the series and it's going to be very hard to follow if you're not familiar with it, if you haven't been following it. Unless you've been here before and I don't remember, in which case I'm very sorry. But hi. That paper must have been something important for Mama's work. I thought so. And I touched it without asking. You didn't do anything wrong, Maria. That's why tonight was so very happy. Yeah, happy. And when Mama takes a bath and clears her head, she'll go back to being the normal, nice Mama. Is that a peek? Oh, that's cute. That's a cute emote. So you mustn't worry about it. Who do you? You're right. Mama's tired too. Ugh. Mustn't worry about it. After all, we were so happy tonight. Uriu.
Just stop it. I can't watch this.
Ange, I think you're looking for happiness in the wrong way.
You're the one who's wrong, One-chan. How can you call this happiness? It's so pitiful that I can't watch anymore.
What is? That Mama suddenly got mad? That happens sometimes when humans get tired. Condemning a person because of a momentary misplaced emotion isn't very adult of you, Ange.
I can't believe I'm hearing this from a 9-year-old. You and me both. But that's not the problem. That ticket stub you picked up was clearly strange.
What was? There's nothing strange about it, and it has nothing to do with the happiness of that night, right?
Aunt Rosa called because she'd be staying over at her company because of work, right? Why Atami? Isn't that what you call a vacation? It means she left you and went on a vacation, right? And you normally don't go on a vacation by yourself.
Even if that was a ticket for Atami, that alone doesn't make it proof that Mama lied and went on a vacation, right?
She lied on the phone, and then she changed her expression so drastically and grabbed it from you. What more proof could you want?
It might have been from a business trip long ago, right? Or maybe she just happened to pick up some trash and put it in her pocket. It might have been a receipt from someone who worked for her, who went on a business trip. In that case, it would be important for her work. It wasn't a toy, so I can understand why Mama took it away. This evidence you're talking about is only circumstantial. Imagination and delusions. I don't know why you're interpreting it in a way that makes a relationship worse.
I'm the one who doesn't understand why you're interpreting it in a way that's so convenient for Aunt Rosa.
As I thought, you're a pitiable child, Ange.
Even though there are so many fragments lying about you that could make you happy, you can't find them.
Instead, you only look at unhappy fragments and continue to get hurt. That's why you're scared of being hurt. And only start looking for happiness after you check to make sure there's nothing around you that could hurt you. When I talk with you,
wrong voice. When I talk with you, One-chan, it gets hard to tell which one of us isn't making sense.
You know what? There are lots of happy and unhappy fragments, and they fill the world up. So people who can't find happiness right beside them won't be able to find it, no matter how hard they look. Like Tiltil and Mytil searching for the blue bird. I don't know how to pronounce those names, to be honest.
Never heard those said out loud, even though I've seen them before. Thank you, Abe, for the save reminder. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, that story with a moral.
You're the complete opposite, Ange. You're searching for a world without a fragment of unhappiness. But that's the same as the blue bird, so you'll be unable to find your happiness for all eternity.
That comment, that hurt. Ow. She's brutal. Also, thank you for the follow, Magikarp. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the fish tank. My other theme for streaming is fish-based and related, and my other avatar for streaming is a little octopus-type character, so that's why it's called the fish tank. Thank you. I mean, yeah, Magikarp in a fish tank makes perfect sense, right? Aqua buddies, hell yeah. Okay, now that I've recovered from Maria roasting Ange, I'll finish her sentence. God, that actually physically hurt me a little bit. It's like, yeah, you're gonna be unhappy forever. Damn. Ow.
Is Battler Hansel? Or is he the blue bird?
Maria, please stop. You're hurting me. Please. Phew. Give it a rest already. In any event, I understand that a night of happiness was wasted because of a single scrap of paper.
It sure is scary that a single scrap of paper could do that. In that case, maybe the power to get your happiness back can also lie in a single scrap of paper, right?
Just when she'd finally been able to communicate with Maria after so long, Rosa's face twisted with a mixture of anger, sadness, and a fierce self-hatred as she flew into her room and closed the door. Maria's sorry sliced into her chest sharper than a knife. At that time, she noticed a cute envelope placed on her study table. It was probably something that had come with a girl's magazine. Tsumama. Let me share my happiness with you, it said. It is July, yeah. Happy July. I guess. She took it, and after hesitating, opened it, and read what was inside. Then, after letting 2 large tears drip down the paper, she flew out of the room, hugged Maria from behind as she headed for the bathroom, and buried her face into her daughter's back, and cried. Then, realizing that she was the one who should be apologizing, she apologized. Why is Mama apologizing? There's no answer to that question.
Look, we already made up. Something like that was absolutely nothing to worry about because of the friendship Mama and I share.
To me, your happiness is too painful, Marianne-chan.
I understand how you feel, more or less. Before I realized I had that power, even I was a pitiful child who could only find fragments filled with misfortune, just like you are now.
What is that power? This power that I don't have, but you do. Are you saying that I'm unfortunate and you're blessed because I don't have that? Just what is this thing that you can't describe except with an abstract word like power?
Yeah. You do want to know that, Ange. That's why you've been reading my story so far. Of course, I'll teach you. I'll show you the secret to that power. And it's something I taught you about long ago, when you were little, right? Did you forget? It's okay. I remember. No, she will teach you.
She? Who's that? I shall teach you in Maria's place. Beatrice. The power Maria has, but you do not.
Yeah, the power I have, but Ange doesn't.
It's magic. Maria and Beato said it together. And then they started giggling because they'd said it at the same time. It was an innocent reaction, one that didn't seem like Beato at all. Black tea was arranged on a table in a peaceful garden. And Beato, Maria, and Sakutaro, who was sitting on Maria's lap, were having fun chatting. Oh, I see. He is called Sakutaro. So this is your best friend.
Uryu, nice to meet you. I'm Sakutaro. Ooh, Sakutaro's shy. so he's nervous. It's okay. Beatrice is also a great friend of mine. Are Maria's friends my friends? Yeah. Then am I Beatrice's friend too? Yeah.
Maria, does something like this happen frequently for you in your everyday life?
What?
Is breathing a spirit of magic into inorganic matter and giving it life like this commonplace in your everyday life?
Sakutaro isn't inorganic matter. He's a lion cub.
The stuffed animal makes for an excellent vessel. It is not uncommon for spirits to be made to reside in them when they are spoken to by innocent children with no toxin. According to Beatrice, every time a child plays with dolls, the dolls actually gain a will and converse with them, sometimes even moving by their own will. However, because of their innocence, the power imbued into such a vessel is very weak. If they get struck with even a tiny bit of the toxin from a human's common sense, which says that there's no way a doll can talk or move, they instantly revert to being non-speaking dolls. However, this Sakutaro stuffed animal of yours is different.
Sakutaro is a stuffed animal, but he isn't one. I'm a lion cub. Sakutaro is a lion cub, but he's still a kid, so he can't roar sometimes.
Gazing at Maria, who was playing around with Sakutaro by the table loaded with tea, Beatrice let out a sigh of admiration. How incredible. This Sakutaro, with a cloth and cotton vessel as a shell, has completely materialized into the human world. He has his own personality, talks with the summoner freely, and even moves by his own will. And even more surprising is that Maria did not summon him using the name of a person from another world, but created him out of the sea of zero. After that, Maria boasted to Beato that Sakutaro wasn't her only friend, and that she had many more of them back at home. It seemed there were other similar stuffed animals and dolls who could talk and move of their own will like Sakutaro. It was something natural for Maria. It was natural for stuffed animals to talk, move, and become her friends of their own will. When she saw that Maria accepted this as something natural, as a witch, Beatrice felt a respect bordering on awe. Maria, without a doubt, that power of yours is magic.
It's magic? I'm still a witch apprentice, so I can't use magic yet, right?
No, it is magic. Because you cannot use it consciously, you are still an apprentice. But even so, what magical power it is. The materialization of your friend, Sakutaro, is excellent proof of that.
Materialization?
Indeed. In your case, it may even be fitting to call it creation. A piece of inorganic matter that would have no soul at all in another's hands can have a soul sent into it through your magic. Furthermore, that strong magical power lies in the human world. In this era so filled with a toxin that denies magic, summoning a magical power that can materialize a single life form is not easy, even for me. It isn't hard to give birth to any number of soulless beings. However, giving birth to a being with a soul is very difficult. This is what Beato asserted.
I don't really understand what you're saying, Beato. You're saying Sakutaro is amazing?
Both you and Sakutaro are incredible. You should be proud. I see. That which Kinzo desired above all else seems to dwell most strongly within you.
I don't have a clue why Beato's praising Maria so much. Right, Sakutaro?
What should be truly admired is not only that a soul has been made to reside in a stuffed animal, even more significant is the fact that you have changed your own worldview. When it comes to giving birth to something from nothing, you stand out from the crowd. It is easy to make 100 from 1. However, giving birth to 1 from 0 is not. When you do become a full witch, beyond just becoming a match for me, you might grow into a great witch that even I must acknowledge as superior. A witch of origins, perhaps. I'm really looking forward to your future.
Ooh. Beato said I have talent as a witch. Isn't that great, Maria? Beato, thank you for praising Maria.
No need to thank me, Sakutaro. That red muffler truly suits you. And I am envious of the talent of your master, who was able to give birth to a friend like you.
Thanks for complimenting my muffler. This is a present I got from Maria. It's my favorite.
And its size is truly like a muffler that was created just for you. I see. I must also give my new friend some kind of present.
Beato is giving Sakutaro a present?
Of course. A gift from a witch must be something with magical power. In that case, so that he can be your friend for all time, and so that you can have even more fun playing with him, I shall give Sakutaro my magic power. With that, he should be able to materialize even more strongly.
I'll be able to have much more fun playing with Sakutaro? How's that? What could it be, Maria? Is it something scary? Don't worry. Beato won't do anything scary. Right, Beatrice?
Indeed. I believe you will like it. So, to make him materialize even more strongly, a stronger image will be necessary. Well, what to do? Beato crossed her arms and thought about what she could do to please them even more. Then, right there, was the form of yet another witch. It was Beato's teacher, Virgilia. Virgilia truly was a great witch. Since Maria already thought of Beato as a great witch, this person Beato called a great witch must have been a great witch. According to Beato, she still didn't even rise up to this witch's feet when it came to magical power. My, I thought I heard some cheery voices. What a fun tea party this seems to be. Oh, teacher. Perfect timing. I want you to look at this lion cub. I hear he's Maria's new friend. What a lovely lion son. I wonder if he can greet me. Hello, nice to meet you.
I'm Sakutaro.
Sakutaro fell to Maria's lap, greeting Maria with half of his face poking out over the edge of the table. It seemed he was very nervous, since this was a witch that even Beato called teacher. What an adorable name. As a reward for giving such a good greeting, here's a sweet for you. After waving her hands about, Virgilia held the palm of her hand upwards, as though she was lightly grabbing at the empty air. Then, she held her fist out in front of Sakutaro. When she opened her fist, there was one of those individually wrapped cough drops.
Uryu? Maria, it's candy. Awesome. Ew, isn't that great, Sakutaro? Make sure to thank her. Uryu, thank you very much for the candy.
Even though Virgilia was a great witch, she still treated a stuffed animal like Sakutaro to an elegant greeting. Oh, you too, Jester. Have a good night. And thank you for being here. Still, teacher, cough drops? Are you someone's granny or something? Can't you at least pull out some strawberry milk candy? Isn't that just as granny-like? Or is that like a Dutch thing? How rude. In that case, I won't be giving you any more. Sorry. Well then, Maria. Take out your grimoire. And of course, your writing tools.
Yeah, I'll take it out. What should I write?
Oh, what are you starting? I will use a magic I learned from you, teacher. Magic to make a resident of another world materialize into a vessel. I think that by applying that, we may be able to further strengthen the power that makes this friend of Maria's materialize. I wanted to give that as a gift to Maria and her friend. I see. For a being that has already materialized, it shouldn't be that difficult. That could become a wonderful gift. Well then, I shall help too, if only a little. It would be very reassuring if you would sign for this magic as a witness, teacher. Be glad, Maria. This will be a wonderful gift.
What's happening? It isn't scary, is it? Is it? Don't know. But I don't think it's scary. What could it be? I can't wait.
Beato borrowed the grimoire from Maria's handbag and majestically flipped through the pages. Then, she found an empty page among those with magic circles drawn on them, and flattened it out. After gazing at Sakutaro with a grin, she suddenly started moving her pen. It was something like a written declaration made by witches to a high-order world. It was magic whose effect could be controlled if Beatrice wrote and Virgilia signed. Maria didn't understand what Beato was writing at first, but partway through, she figured out the wonderful magical power of this document, and her eyes began to sparkle.
Who do you? What is it, Maria? What's she drawing? Who do you?
Sakutaro was on her lap, so he didn't know what was being written on the table. But even if he had seen, Sakutaro probably wouldn't have understood.
Awesome, Sakutaro. Wait a bit. Almost done. It's amazing, Beato. Amazing.
When it comes to writing documents of power, this child's talent is magnificent. You might even serve well as a secretary in the spirit world. How's this? Not so bad, right? After finishing her writing with an intense amount of concentration, Beato looked over the document again from a distance. It seemed she was fairly satisfied with her work, and Maria, who was also peeking in at it, let out a cry of wonder.
Awesome, Beato. Cute. Ooh.
By the name of the Golden Witch, Beatrice, I now acknowledge Sakutaro, Maria's child. Teacher, if you would sign as a witness. Yes. By my name, I witness and acknowledge this oath. It is done. Virgilia signed, completing the written declaration. It was a document with the power to proclaim to the beings of a higher world that Sakutaro had most certainly materialized in the human world. Sakutaro, who had been born from Maria, was nominated by the two witches, Beatrice and Virgilia, and just now, his existence had been acknowledged by the higher world. That itself was the great magic of materialization. According to Beato, it was apparently quite fortunate that Virgilia was here. After all, depending on the number and quality of witches that signed proclamations to the higher world, the power that resided in them could change drastically. Virgilia in particular had many friends in that higher plane, so her signature gave the proclamation a power with which Beato's couldn't even compare. By this proclamation, I accept you, Sakutaro, as an individual with his own ego, and I welcome you as a friend in accordance with the contract of Mariage Sorcière, I think is how you pronounce that. From now on, Sakutaro is our common friend. and for that, I shall bestow upon you a fitting form as a gift. Accept it. With the grimoire still open to the page with the proclamation, she turned it around and handed it to Maria. Maria showed it to Sakutaro on her lap. When Sakutaro beheld that proclamation, he felt something hot and bright begin to dwell in his body made of cloth and cotton. Even as he looked around, nervous at this sensation he'd never felt before, that power strengthened, and eventually a bright light completely swallowed him up.
Idiot.
Then, when that light disappeared, there Maria's friend Sakutaro held a new form and existed.
Ooh, you're cute, Sakutaro. Really cute. Idiot. Does it really look good on me? It isn't embarrassing.
It is a very lovely form, Sakutaro-chan. I figured the muffler was his charm point. And the ears. Animal ears sure are nice, truly cute. Let me nibble them later.
Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you very much for the wonderful present.
There's no need for thanks. This is out of respect for your wonderful magic and your friend. And now that you've reached this level, it would not be odd for you to graduate from being an apprentice at any time. From now on, I shall instruct you on even more new and fun magic. From this point onwards, you may call yourself Maria, an apprentice witch of origins.
A witch of origins?
Indeed. It is the title of a witch who seeks to become a creator. Right now, you are just an enchanter, a magician specializing in forms of magical enhancement, who has only enough strength to breathe magical power into the small objects around her. But after 1,000 years of training, you could conceivably use the magical compendium that resides inside your heart to create a galaxy. The talent of a witch of origins is very rare. Even though everyone has it when they are young, no one can continue to hold on to it. This title is also proof that you have not lost your untainted heart.
Ooh, a witch of origins. Awesome. I'll become one. I'm Maria, an apprentice witch of origins. Maria, that's so incredible. A witch of origins. Incredible. Amazing. Who do you?
Eventually, you will be able to call yourself a full witch, Lady Maria, Witch of Origins. It may be a good time now to give not only Sakutaro, but you as well, an appearance fitting for your rank. Here, I shall give a proper outfit for one who, while still an apprentice, is worthy of using the title of a witch. When Beato waved the pipe that was her cane, many gold butterflies that had appeared out of nowhere grouped around Maria, giving her a wonderful dress. It certainly was fitting for the girl who would eventually take the name of the Witch of Origins, combining both cuteness and dignity.
Amazing. Awesome. Cute. I want to show these clothes to Mama too. Can I?
The full dress of a witch must not be shown indiscriminately. Its value increases if you're stingy with it. Then, the Great Witch, the witch's apprentice, and their new friend Sakutaro enjoyed a lively tea party.
See? Look how happy I am. And look how fun this is. Please, don't be afraid of being happy. Becoming happy isn't the same thing as accepting your current misfortune. It means creating a new happiness out of your current misfortune. That is the magic of origins. I didn't want to acknowledge my current world. I couldn't bear to accept such an isolated and painful world. That's why, even though I was entranced by your world, Mariage-chan, I couldn't cross the final line. I'll teach you about my magic of origins. No, I taught you before, right? And you used it before. Did you forget? You were also a witch apprentice, Ange, with your name entered into Mariage Sorcière, weren't you? Yeah, that was true. Mariage Sorcière. That takes me back. I also had my name entered in there at one point, didn't I? Well, we'll get an answer to that question next week, I think, because I feel like this is a really good stopping point. And I'm tired. For realsies, this time. The world 12 years later, October 1998. Yeah, that's a very good... Oh, yeah. I know which scene this is. I will also never forget that, sir. Or person who's talking. The next episode's gonna be very interesting. So if you've been keeping up, this is gonna be interesting. I'm worried that if I give you any kind of details about what level of interesting, what type of interesting, it's gonna be a spoiler, so I won't say more than that. But it will be interesting. Alright. I'm gonna go pause this, pop on some music for the outro. And then I'm gonna thank you all very, very much for watching. Thank you for lurking, being in the chat, whichever it is, for being part of the VOD crew or the YouTube crew. I appreciate you all just so much. And yeah, it's episode 4. We're doing it. Just still very jazzed that I get to do this every week. And this was a great episode. I had a lot of fun. My voice is fucking wrecked, actually. Which I think is proof that I had a good time. And I hope you all did too. And if you did, I hope to see you again next week. As always, I'm gonna put this episode as a highlight on the Twitch channel. I'm going to put it on YouTube. And then we're gonna be back next week. And until then, have a good night, have a good week, take care of yourself, and see you next time. Bye-bye.